Hi, I'm Robin Bensley. Welcome to Chow Time. I have been making this particular hors d'oeuvre for about 15-20 years, and I would call it the most popular hors d'oeuvre I make. It goes so fast at parties. This is a recipe you're going to want to know.
Yeah, mama leke, yeah, mama leke, alabango pamba, pumba bango.
The reason these delicious little meat-filled pastries are African is because it's the combination of beef, hot peppers, and peanut butter, crunchy peanut butter. That combination is very traditional in a lot of African cooking. So I'm starting here at the stove. I'm not going to tell you the amounts because one batch makes 48 African beef turnovers. I'm doing a triple batch because I want to fill up my freezer. That's how popular they are. So I'm just going to tell you the ingredients, but if you go to my website, you can just print right out the exact recipe. So I've browned some ground sirloin in a big skillet, and I'm going to season it with salt and red pepper flakes. Stir that in a little bit. When the meat is almost browned, I'm going to add some chopped tomatoes and chopped onions. I turn the heat down just to medium-high, and we're going to let this cook for about 10 to 15 minutes until all those onions are nice and tender and the tomatoes have released their juices. Now, earlier today I made the dough, and here's all I did. Took 2 sticks of butter, 1 8-ounce package of cream cheese, 2 cups of flour, and a half a teaspoon of salt. And the butter and the cream cheese, by the way, are room temperature. Then I just dive in with my hands, and you just mix it all up. All right, now I'm going to pat it into a big ball, set it on a piece of plastic wrap, wrap it all up, and you want to chill this in the refrigerator for a couple of hours. All right, the onion is nice and tender. The liquid has cooked off because you don't want a runny filling. Look at that. So now you turn off the heat, and I'm going to stir in crunchy peanut butter. Okay, now we want to let it cool down so we can work with it to fill the dough. Now we're ready to put everything together. So I want to flour a surface. Then I'm going to unwrap my chilled dough. And this is such a decadent dough. I mean, it's butter and cream cheese and flour. It's so rich. And I'm going to cut it in half because it's easier to work with this way. So you just start kneading it a little bit to get it a little bit flattened. Put it on the floured surface. A little flour on the top too. Then I'm going to flour my rolling pin. I'm just going to start rolling it. I have a 2-inch round cookie cutter, and I'm going to start cutting out my pastries. Then I peel up all the other dough, and we're going to re-roll it. Okay, so I have these wonderful little rounds of dough. So I just like to press it with my fingers a little bit. Then I take a teaspoon and I put about a teaspoon's worth off center. Then you fold it over like that. You take a fork and you crimp the edges to seal it in. And you just keep doing this. This is actually a really good thing to make on a Sunday afternoon because you can just make a ton of them. These freeze beautifully. Okay, I have my first batch ready for the oven. These go in a 375-degree oven for about 8 minutes until they're golden. There they are. Now, right after they come out of the oven, I like to sprinkle the tops with a little bit of salt. Just a dusting. Now they're cooled down enough for me to try one, which I will in just a second, but I made 1 million of them today. And so I'm just going to freeze them like this, uncovered. And when they're frozen, I transfer them to a gallon bag. And I always have them for when people stop over. All you do is heat them up in a hot oven for about 20 minutes, and people will go crazy. So I'm going to steal one before I freeze them. The dough is flaky and creamy and light. And the filling, I can taste the peppers and the meat and the peanuts. It's just such a great combination. These things are completely addicting. And I always like to say that African beef turnovers go faster at a party than a cheetah on a windy day.